Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, how's it going? I hope you're having a fantastic day and a great start to your weekend. My name is Teresa and I love all things makeup, beauty and skincare. So every weekend I like to hang out with you guys and talk about the new makeup, skincare, beauty releases that have come out this week that we collectively found kind of interesting. So I have to say a massive thank you to everyone who has tagged me, DM'd me, etc. in content for this episode. I literally couldn't do it without you. I very much appreciate it. But as always, a massive thank you to my community YouTube members. Your names are being displayed right now, and also I did do a giveaway with my YouTube community members last week. Those of you who are part of that, go and have a little look at the giveaway video just to see who won, because I haven't been contacted yet. Keep a little eye out. But let's get into it. We do have a few little things to talk about. This first one is the collaboration between Saints, Angel Sinners and Calvin Brockington, who is an incredibly talented makeup artist who is kind of known very well over on Instagram. So the collection is actually available right now if you are interested, and it consists of an eyeshadow palette for $52, and there's 3 lip glosses and 3 lip liners. The palette itself is $52, but there are codes for 10% off. I have a non-affiliated code, so it's just my name, TERESA, if you want to take 10% off. What's the story with the eyeshadow palette? Okay, it's 21 pounds. It's predominantly mattes. So it's 15 mattes, 1 multi-chrome and 5 duochromes. Now that is extremely different to anything that we've seen from Saints, Angels, Sinners to date. Why? Because they tend to look very much at duochromes, multi-chromes, etc. And that's great, that's worked for their brand. But you can see that this was very much the brainchild of Calvin. The fact that as an MUA, he knows you need to have your mattes to build your look. So he couldn't have done a palette without like making sure that he has a good ratio of mattes here. And I think there's some really interesting shades in here as well. And I'll also say that looking at his Instagram, you can see where he got these sort of color combinations. This is very true to his aesthetic. He goes for very like sultry, seductive, like grungy glam. That's the best way that I can really think of it. So this really links in with this quite a bit. I love the color story of it. I know that he was saying that the yellow that's in there, he wanted it to be more of like a mustardy tone, which I totally get, but it was kind of hard to formulate. Yellows, I've said this a million times before, very hard to get right. I think $52 is actually a really good price for this, because we're talking about, you know, a small indie brand, but also like when it's a collaboration, you're talking about like a certain proportion has to be made from this. And I think this is pretty good for like a 21 pan palette that has a multi-chrome, 5 duochromes and 15 mattes. I feel like I could make quite a few looks from this. Now, full disclosure, I believe I am getting this in PR, and when I do, I'll do like swatches, etc. I'll do videos. I'm very excited about this. I think this is done really well. It's, can I just say, I'm so glad that it's not an effing rainbow palette. Because if I saw one more rainbow palette, I was going to lose my dinner darling mind. Because that just seems to be like the thing that people collab on and kind of go, here's a rainbow. And it's like, that's already curated. What curation have you done here? Whereas this is an actual curation. I love the pops of like blues, purples, etc. They're really nice. The eye looks that he's made with that, fabulous. Right, I've talked about the eyeshadow palette, but as I said, there are other things. There's 3 liners and there's 3 lip glosses, and they are $14 each. You can bundle the whole thing together for $110 if you are interested. And I really appreciate the fact that they've shown the lip liners and the lip glosses on different kind of skin tones. There's not a massive difference, but you can see that one is more cool toned and one is more warm toned, and you can really see how differently they actually lean. I do kind of think it's funny that he didn't bother naming the shades of the lip liners. There's just 11, 10 and 8. But I'm like, look, if it's good enough for Chanel to call her perfume number 5, why can't they call their lip liners 8, 10 and 11? What happened to number 9 though? So many questions. I guess 8 it. I know, I hate myself, but there you go. I like these colors of lip liners. They're really kind of, I don't want to say universal, but they're very wearable. I think very versatile for most makeup users. The fact that he's gone for like some cool tones and warm tones in there as well, I think, I mean, brilliant. Makes a lot of sense. You guys know I've been on a weird journey with lip liners recently where I'm like, I'm looking for a dupe of Lime Crime Topist, and it has not happened yet. And I need it to happen, is all I'm saying. The glosses look quite nice. There's like I wouldn't say there's like any like duochrominess to them, but I think they're definitely very interesting. Again, $14. Can you even get like a drugstore lip gloss for $14 these days? I feel like you can't. Everything is like crazy expensive. So I feel like that's actually a pretty darn good price. Like I said, there's codes for like 10% off. You do not have to use mine. You can use whatever one you want. You can pay full price. I don't care. It's none of my business. There you go. I do think this is actually curated really, really nicely. You can tell this is an MUA, and I love that when he introduced this, he was like, this is all about, you know, like breaking limits, being reckless, essentially enjoying everything. And I'm like, yes, that is what makeup is about. It's about being able to express yourself, engaging in that creativity. There's no judgment. There's just like a nice, happy, safe space. And I think for a lot of us, that's why we got into makeup, or we thought that it was fun, is to just experiment and see different parts of ourselves. And I feel like this is something that he really tried to capture in this. Can I also just say the outside of the palette, you know, the artwork on that, so different to what Saints, Angels, Sinners has done before. I believe Calvin did that himself. Kudos. I think it looks brilliant. So fabulous. So sleek. This is one of those ones that I feel like this wasn't so much a collaboration between Saints, Angels, Sinners and Calvin. I feel like this was like Calvin was very much given the lead and told, do whatever you want to do. And he did that. And there was no kind of attempts to rein him in and say, no, you're not allowed to do that, or I don't want you to do that. And I have to say, for me, looking on that as, you know, a makeup lover, the fact that I can see that somebody went off and did this and they weren't kind of curtailed or told, no, don't do this, doesn't adhere with our brand. They were given so much leeway with this. This is essentially, it is Calvin's product. It is like Saints, Angels, Sinners like facilitated this and gave him access to formulas, etc. But like the color curation, all of that has been Calvin's. And I think it takes a lot for a brand to be able to kind of give the ownership of something like that to a content creator. So kudos to both parties on that. I think that's pretty incredible. I will say, I put this obviously to you guys in my polls, and look, you guys know you are very like, what's the word? Judgmental, and I kind of love it. But I will say this was the highest rated thing of everything that I put to you guys this week, because the palette got a 29% love it, 67% said not for me, 5% said they were on a no or a low buy. When I showed you the lip liners, 15% said love it, 80% said not for me. The lip glosses got a 23% love it and 73% said not for me. So actually it did pretty darn well, I have to say. Then the next thing that we're talking about is Vampyre Cosmetics, and this is a pre-order of their Interview with a Vampire collection. So the book palette is €75.95, but it actually essentially has 3 sections to it, which I didn't realize. It took a while to go through their website to get all of that. So it's €75.95, but when you actually look at it, it's almost like you're getting 3 palettes in one. So it's working out as about €25 per palette, which I think is pretty good. It's also talc free. The brand is Indigenous owned, it's LGBT owned, and it's disabled owned, which I'm like, oh my god. And I believe it's vegan and cruelty free. So I'm kind of super impressed with that. I think that's quite cool. They also have a pre-order of the blush compact for €18.95, and they have a rose lipstick set trio, so you get 3 lipsticks for €84.95. Now that is a little bit more pricey, but it's working out as like a little bit less than €28 per lipstick, which is like, it's okay, but like the component, fabulous. Let's talk about the eyeshadow palette first. I do feel when I'm looking at this, as I said, there's like 3 books to it, and there's a mirror and everything. The artwork, gorgeous. They've put a lot of work into this. They obviously really care about the source material, and for me that's always like a really big thing whenever you see a collab like this. I do feel like there's a couple of shades here that might be a little bit too close to each other. Look, I love a blending out shade, you know me lads, that's kind of my raison d'etre, but there's a few here that might be a little bit too close to each other. But I've said this before about other things. I found this with Artitude Cosmetics when she was like letting me in on the background of like doing one of the palettes, and I did find that there were 2 shades that looked very similar on me, but they looked totally different on a deeper skin tone. So the fact that this is Indigenous owned, even though to my eyeballs it looks like there are some shades that are quite similar, I suspect they probably look different on different skin tones. But the issue here is that unfortunately on the website there are no swatches. That's my major issue, is the fact that there are no swatches, because I am very intrigued. As I said before, it's very hard to formulate a good yellow, and they have not one but two yellows in this. One is more like that standard mustardy yellow, and then one is more of like a bright yellow, which I'm very, very intrigued by. This is kind of what you would expect, the reds, the dark colours, etc. that's kind of associated with vampires. You kind of couldn't do that without that. I love those little pops of yellow, blue, etc. because it kind of links in like with the brightness of New Orleans and like where they're essentially meant to be based at this point. I think it's really quite interesting. Is it my kind of colour story? No, it's not, but I think that you could get quite a bit of use out of this. I think that if you're a fan of the IP, this is a really nice collector's item. And again, the fact that it's talc free, they've actually kept the price down pretty well, all things. Look, you guys know we've seen stuff that is talc free over the last couple of months and the price is high. So they've kept it down. And for an indie brand, I am pretty impressed with that. I just want to talk about that little blush compact. Shut the front door. How cute is that? Again, I wish they'd shown the swatches, shown it on the face, because I think this could look so beautiful. It's so pretty. There's something very like 1920s about it, even though that's not when the book is set, but like it's giving me like old school glamour, and I kind of love that. Wouldn't you love to pull that out of your handbag and be like, oh yeah, I'm just doing my blush? Although I'd never really take blush out of my handbag, because I normally find that my blush stays on all day because I am a dry-skinned bee, so things generally stay where they are. I think that's really pretty. Again, my major issue with the brand right now as it stands is they don't have any photos of the products being worn. There's no swatches, so I can't actually determine any of that. I think that's a major issue at this point. The lipsticks, they're very pretty. Just the components alone, look at that rose detail. That is spectacular. Do I think necessarily the orange and the pinky shades are the most wearable? Probably the pinky is a little bit more. The orange, do you know what? That would look beautiful on a deeper skin tone. So I'm kind of here for that. I think that would look beautiful. But I can't see many people being able to wear all three of these unless they're like, fuck it, I don't care. I'll do what I want. In which case, be my friend. You're my kind of person. I think this is just one of those beautiful collector's things. So I'm like, do you know what? It is. It's very, very pretty. Like, would you not love to have that on your nightstand, makeup desk, whatever your thing is that you keep your lipstick on? I don't know. Maybe it's in your bathroom. I won't judge. But wouldn't you love to have something like that? It just looks so pretty. Am I being very shallow? I am. Oh my goodness, who knew? I do think though it looks really, really pretty. I'm intrigued by the brand, and I will say I've never tried anything from them, but I did ask in a short video during the week if somebody had tried it. And I did get a comment underneath that said that somebody not only tried it, but they were an affiliate with the brand and they really enjoyed them. So I was like, because normally, particularly for smaller content creators, we don't bother becoming affiliates unless we actually like the product. So I'm like, that'd be quite interesting. So I definitely have my little eyeballs peeled for that. When I put it to you guys, the eyeshadow palette did okay. It was a 14%, love it. I think just because we couldn't see swatches, so we didn't know what we were signing up for. The lipsticks did okay, 10% loved it. And the blush did okay as well, a 10% love it. Then we have Glam Shop, which is an indie brand based out of Poland. I have a couple of things from them already, and I have to say I think their quality is really, really good. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't taken off more than they have, and part of why I think that they haven't taken off more than they have is the fact that to this day on their website, their swatches are just not done very well. Look, I'm all for like honest swatches. Yes, hells yes. But these look really ashy. I don't even feel like these are honest swatches. Do I sound like I'm maybe in denial? Who knows? But I feel like these aren't really that honest, because I have a few of their palettes already that a fabulous friend of mine, Kezia, actually got for me. And they're beautiful. They're very pigmented. They blend beautifully. But these kind of swatches don't give you that. They also don't give you the colour story that is with this beautiful palette. The palette itself is called Glam Box Grunge, which is like Glam Box and then / grunge. So I'm like, my box is indeed glam, but also grunge. Thanks for asking. It's retailing for €34.66, so that's not bad for a 15-pan eyeshadow palette, to be fair. Now, when I look at it, when it's initially displayed, I'm like, oh my god, these are my colours. Look at the grunginess. And then you look, as I said, at the swatches, and it kind of like, you know the sound, wah, wah. That's all I can see. And I know that if it was built up, if it was actually shown to full opacity, because nobody's like swiping a colour onto their eye like that's not indicative. If they even showed us some of these on the eye, that would be really helpful. Like, show us some looks with this. And this is why I think Glam Shop are not doing as well as they could, because they're a very good brand. They're really solid. It's fantastic to see European indie brands. We love them. And by we, I mean the royal we, because it is me. I love seeing them. I want to see them succeed. So I'm giving constructive feedback here. I'm not being mean or whatever. I genuinely think they have some great products. Even if they just kind of worked with a great content creator who makes really, really nice pictures. Like, for example, Deandra Nicole, you guys know I've talked about her many a time. She does fantastic pictures. She recently did ones for Klarity Kosmetics and their Forbidden Love eyeshadow palette, and they put it up onto their website. Like, if they did some little deal, like if they sent her, I don't know, whatever her fee is to do that, I think it would really help. It doesn't have to be Deandra Nicole, it could be anybody. But I also suggest making sure that you have swatches from varying skin tones so that we can tell what the story is with undertones. I just feel like this is a missed opportunity, because otherwise this palette I think could be really, really pretty. They're just not showcasing it in the way that really will help to show it at its fullest. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like that is such a pity. Like, it's such a missed opportunity. I want them to do well. You know, it's just, it's sad. I do like the look of it, but there's part of me that's almost like, should I get it so I can swatch it and show people what it looks like? But that's a stupid reason to get something. And I don't know if you've noticed, please give me a star if you have. But I'm trying not to buy as much. I'm trying not to be as like, ooh, because the autistic urge to grab everything that I enjoy that is close to my special interest is so strong. But I'm trying to kind of work against that. It's tricky. So I'm trying not to do that. I like this. I just, it kind of makes me a little bit sad. When I showed it to you guys, it didn't fare well. And again, this is what I'm saying. Swatches, people, they matter. I even had a few people DM me kind of, what the hell is going on with those swatches? They are ashy. And I'm like, yes, they are. 5% of you loved it, 91% said not for me, and 5% said you're on a no or a low buy. And Colourpop were really looking for the money from 90s and noughties babies with this release. It's the Colourpop collaboration with Pokémon, which they teased, I'd say maybe about a month ago, but it's available right now. Weirdly, when I was putting all of this together last night, there were whole chunks of this still available, so it didn't seem to sell out. I'm not sure if that's still the case. Go and have a little nosy over there if you are interested. The first couple of things that they released, or they kind of sneak peeked, were just a bit like, oh, really? You're going with this? Because they had a lip mask and they showed some pH lip balms, which I'm not going to talk about my loathing of pH lip balms, because you would only need one, because they're all going to come out pink. That's just silly. Don't do that. Very, very silly. So that was like really underwhelming, and I was like, what have you done? And it kind of picked up from there once we saw some blushes, some Super Shock, and the eyeshadow palette. It was like, okay, this is looking a little bit better. So the palette is called Palette Town. That's retailing for $30. The lip mask is $12. They also have this ultra glossy lip kit for $27, which I have to say, that looks quite nice. I do like the look of that. Like I said, those pH lip balms, they did really weirdly well, because when I did look onto the site, 2 of those were sold out. 2 out of the 3, because there was Thunderbolt, Sing and Transform. It was weirdly Thunderbolt, which is the Pikachu one, that wasn't there. I thought that was quite interesting. They're $12 each. There were 3 Super Shock shadows in Flamethrower, Hydro Pump and Solar Beam, and they're $9 each. And then of course they had 3 cream blushes in the shades Electro Ball, Hypnosis and Metronome for $14 each. You could get the total collection for $109. $159. Okay, I'm going to talk about the eyeshadow palette first. So they've called it Palette Town. It's apparently meant to be inspired by Kanto, and I kind of like it. I don't love it, but I think it's quite cool. There's a lot of this that is, I mean, if you grew up with it, you know what's going on. I played the Game Boy games, so I'm like looking at the SSN. Do you remember when you used to have to, did anyone play the game? And you I'm so excited. Do you remember the little ferry, the little boat that you had to get to go from one part to another part, and that was called the SSN? That was so cool. And then the tall grass, they have a shade called Tall Grass, and you go through the tall grass and eventually you come across a weedle or something like that. Love it. They've shades like Fainted. I love that. Blasting Off, Lavender Town, Drying Pan. I mean, the names so well thought through. They're linking it in, as I said, with Kanto. Love it. I think actually that shade Champion is quite interesting. You know, it's a little bit of a duochrome. The packaging, adorable. The fact that you see like Abra and like all of these, oh sorry, like I didn't end up getting this. I was a very good girl. Give me a biscuit, give me a cookie. I do like it, but I don't love it. And I feel like this is very recycled from a lot of Colourpop's previous like eyeshadow color stories. But in saying that, it's kind of hard for them to come out with something new because they've kind of done it all. This is fine. It's fine. You know, I don't think it's the worst thing. I don't think it's the best thing. I think it's very like medium tier. It does feel like, at least with the shade names, they've kind of put some amount of thought into this. Like if this turned up at my door, because I often have this as a scenario, I'd be quite happy with it. I wouldn't be unhappy with it, but I don't really want to go off and buy it. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I thought it was cute, but not cute enough to actually get. Okay, I want to talk about the Super Shock shadows next because, again, I'm going to bring it back to the Game Boy, lads. Do you remember the Game Boy? And you'd always want to start off with a Pikachu, but you never got to start with a Pikachu. You had to choose between a Squirtle, a Charmander, and a Bulbasaur. And that's what they've essentially given you. So you have your choices there. And the shade names are down to the powers that they can use. So I think that's actually kind of cool. That's a cute little nod. Adorable. I don't feel like they've necessarily showcased these in the best way. I've said this a million times before with Colourpop. What are they doing with their swatches? Because this just looks a bit like wah wah. The shade Solar Beam, actually kind of interesting. Have we seen a purple to green shift? Yeah, 50 times over, but it's actually quite cute. By the way, in case you were wondering which one I went for, I actually went with Squirtle because I am obsessed with water. Autism fun fact. So I was like, oh, obviously I'm going to go with a water Pokemon. Yeah, the nostalgia, I kind of get it. The cream blushes, again, they've actually gone with the names of the powers that each of these Pokemon would have. Like Electro Ball is obviously one that Pikachu has, Metronome then is one that Clefable has, and Hypnosis is one that Gengar has. So I really like that they brought in the Ghost one here. Ooh, of all of them, of all of the Colourpop things that came out as part of this launch, this was the one that was really getting me. But I will say I am a blush hoe. And I'm like, Teresa, you only have 2 cheeks on your face that you can blush. You could blush your other cheeks, but that would be silly and would result in an awful lot more laundry that you have to do, and we don't like that. So I do like this. I think it's really cute, the packaging, adorable. The thing is, I decided against this. I'm being good because my rationale is it's cream blush. Cream blushes don't tend to last as long. They'll kind of go off, and I was like, look, Teresa, you have 50 million blushes in your collection. You do not need this. You don't. Yes, your nostalgia is getting you, but you don't need it. I actually do feel like they did this aspect pretty well. It's, by the way, like a cream to matte formula if you are interested. I like this. I was a bit worried when I saw Electro Ball first and I was like, red, oh my god, but it does look like you can sheer it out, thank goodness. Love that they have a purple in here because I've said this a million times before. Colourpop tend to forget that there are people with deeper complexions, and purple is one of the most beautiful blush colors on a deeper skin tone. It is just gorgeous, so I'm glad that they included that. They also have the lip mask. I'm a bit confused as to why it has like glittery sparkly things in it, but it seems grand. Apparently there's like a scent to it. Trend Mood said that she thought it was like sugar cookies. That hasn't really been confirmed. It doesn't say anything on the website about that, but there you go. Called her You're a Catch lip mask, and look, it comes in a cute little Pokeball. That's adorable. I'm not unhappy about that. I do think they missed a trick. They could have done a really cute little Pokeball mirror. That would have been adorable. I'd love a Pikachu mirror. do you know what? Give me any of the Pokemon and make it into a mirror. Give me a little Eevee mirror. Oh my god, my stupid brain would not be able to cope. I think that's pretty good. Like, it's a safe one. It's grand. The lip glosses, they're really pretty. They're $27 though, really quite expensive. And I love that I just talked about Eevee, and this is the Evolution lip gloss set. So these are all the different like Eevee evolutions that you can have depending upon like the stone that you use. So like if you use like a Thunderstone, you get an Electron. If you use like a Water Stone, it's a Vaporeon. And if you use like a Firestone, it's a Flareon. That's right, guys. I know my Pokemon. So excited about that. I do think it's pretty. However, again, once you see it on the lips, they do all start to look similar, you know? And what annoys me here is that you can't buy them separately. You can't buy them separately. I looked, you have to get the pack of the 3 for $27. And I'm like, I don't feel like that makes sense for me. I'm looking at my lip gloss collection. I already have a lot there, so I didn't necessarily need it. But I think that's actually quite nice for people who are like just collectors. I'm not going to judge you because I collect myself. I think that could make a really, really nice piece, so I totally get it. The pH lip balms, oh my god. Do you know what's really funny? Over on their website, they haven't actually like swatched all 3 of them together, at least not when I was looking at it. But I found from their Instagram the 3 swatches, and I'll be honest, you can kind of see a little bit of a difference, but not that much. You know, that's like the difference to the naked eye, but that's on like an arm, not on your lips. Like on your lips, there's going to be very, very little distinction, and I do find it quite interesting that they haven't really contrasted them. Why? Because everyone's pH is going to be the same. The formula is going to be, and by the way, if your pH is so different to everyone else's, you're probably dead. You know, like can we just be done with that? Actually, I have so many feelings, because actually, you know, bringing in a pH thing makes sense, because that was like a thing in the 90s. The next thing we're going to have is those like roller glitter balls, do you remember, in your arm hair get all stuck together. So that's all I'm thinking of. Anyways, it's cute. The packaging is cute, but I wish they'd actually made it like proper, like glittery, or somebody even said like if they'd flavored them. How cute would that have been? Because they did that apparently with the Harry Potter collection. So why not do that? That would have made sense. In all, I feel like it's mid. I hate saying mid. Mid is such like a TikTok term, but there you go. It's just like, meh. It's not awful. It doesn't like infuriate me, but it doesn't, I didn't buy any of it. Where's my trophy? Yeah, well done me. Anyways, if you did get it, I'm delighted for you. I hope you enjoy it. When I showed it to you guys, we were all kind of in a similar place. The palette probably did the best. Well, not quite, but it was 22% love it, 74% said not for me. Those lip balms, you're in agreement with me, so thank you guys. 5% of you said love it, 91% said not for me, 14% of you loved the lip mask, 82% said not for me. The lip glosses were actually the most popular out of the collection. 29% love it, 71% said not for me. And again, this is where I'm like, why didn't you sell these separately? Because I think that would have done really well. Like, even if they sold them separately for $10 each, like, why not? The blushes also did very well. 27% love it, 68% said not for me. And the Super Shock shadows didn't do that great. 14% love it. And I think it's just because it didn't have that wow factor. Speaking of wow factor, I came across this. This is a brand called Sugarock. It's apparently a brand from China, and they're sourced, or you can get them through Look Healthy store, and I think they're in Wuhan, China, I believe. Anyways, this is their Extravaganza Polytope 12 color eyeshadow palette. Ooh, quite a mouthful. Can we appreciate it for a second though? It looks gorgeous. You guys know I have like slight gothic emo tendencies. If you've watched me for a while, are you that surprised? So anytime that I see something that kind of taps into that, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And the shades look really pretty as well, but oh my god, sit down lads, €120.96. So expensive. In that, you're getting 5 pearlescent shadows, 6 mattes, and 1 special color. Now, this is what they've said on their website. Note, special color. The makeup effect is mottled texture and accompanied by pearlescent luster. It cannot be blended evenly, so it can only be applied by pressing in dots. It is recommended to use fingertips or silicone brush to apply makeup. Can be layered over lightweight matte colors. I appreciate, by the way, that was not a difficult piece of information to find. They were very forthcoming about that. I like that when they say that. It's so expensive. Like, it's up there with the likes of Isamaya, but it's also giving me very Isamaya sort of vibe. The swatches, they look really interesting, but I feel like if I went through a lot of my collection, I could probably dupe bits of it. But there's so much about this that just kind of appeals to me, like the artwork, the whole aesthetic of it. Oh, it does look really very, very interesting, to be fair. And as I said, they were very forthcoming with that whole thing about the special colour. There's part of me that wants to try that because I want to see what the story is with that, like what sort of a texture, like the fact that you have to like dot it on, that they're saying that you have to use a silicone brush. So is it like quite emollient? Is it like a creamy based thing? But if it was creamy based, you could probably use a brush. I have many questions. I'm kind of interested in it. The colour story is just, love it. It makes me do a face. I love it. I think it looks really, really cool. I appreciate the fact that they're very forthcoming on the fact that this special colour has to be worked on in a particular way and that they're giving you advice on that. I like that. I don't know of any retailers in Europe or the US that are supplying this, and I couldn't find Sugarock's own website. They didn't seem to have one, so they seem to just be going through, what was it, Look Healthy, or yeah, Look Healthy. Look Healthy, guys, Look Healthy. So I guess if you want to get it through them, that's the story. I like the look of this. I do. I do not like the price. If it was half the price, if it was €60 48 I hate to say it, but I would actually get it. I would, because I'm stupid. And I'd be like, yeah, I'll make a video and not these swatches, even though, like, who actually cares? But I do think it is, for sure, really interesting. But I've seen a lot of stuff coming out of these Chinese brands recently that are just genuinely kind of pulling me, and I'm going, sorry, what is that? What are you showing me here? Because it looks really interesting. There have been a few that I've been sent and I'm like, so I'm not against it. This next one, this is a collaboration between My Kitco and Danessa Myricks. Danessa Myricks, the makeup artist, not her makeup brand. That is quite distinct. And if you know My Kitco, they do fantastic brushes. They are pricey, they are, but they're really, really good. My friend Daniela introduced me to them and I wish she hadn't, because I've spent a bomb on them since, but they're really good, they wear really well, and it kind of makes sense that Danessa has gone through My Kitco because they have that back catalogue and they have experience in making brushes. This is their thing, so they've done this collection together. Like, it wouldn't have made sense for her brand to come out with that because I don't think they have the resources for that yet. Anyways, this is her My Yummy brush collection. I find that quite interesting that she's called it My Yummy, because obviously that's linking in with things like her My Yummy skin collection, etc., that she has with her own brand. So it's weird that it's Danessa Myricks the person and not Danessa Myricks the brand. A bit confusing, or maybe that's just me. Anyways, there's a My Yummy brush collection face edition, so that gives you 17 pieces of brushes in a luxury vegan leather bag for €284.95. Like I said, this is not inexpensive. Probably one of the cheapest things then is the My Yummy brush collection starter edition. There's 10 brushes in there along with the vegan leather bag for €181.95. They also then have the My Yummy brush collection eye edition where there's 12 brushes with the bag for €181.95. There's the My Yummy brush collection detail edition. If you know Danessa, she does an awful lot of detail work. This is an 11-piece brush set and luxury vegan leather bag for €157.95. But if you wanted all of it, that includes 40 brushes along with the luxury vegan leather brush portfolio. That is €465.95. That's close to £1,000. Oh my god, so expensive. I think I'm going to start off first by maybe talking about the face brush set. So there's definitely some nice kind of sloping angled brushes in here. Like, say for instance the My 6, that, can you imagine using that to put on your contour? That is looking really, really nice. And they do have some nice kind of shapes here in terms of like your contour, etc. Like, they have a lot of angled brushes in here. I'm kind of surprised that they don't have like a specific kind of foundation brush, although I suppose the My 11, the My Yummy airbrush domed, would kind of be quite similar to that. And I'm wondering if it's kind of, it almost looks similar to the My Kitco My Flexi Face large, which is, I have this here in case you want to look at it. There you go, have a little look. Teresa has split the screen. So I think it looks looks a bit like that. Obviously she's changed around the handles to kind of go in with her aesthetic, and I have to say the aesthetic looks beautiful. These are all kind of very, I don't want to say standard shapes, but they're kind of what you would expect to be in a makeup artist kit. So I think this makes an awful lot of sense. There are some nice shapes in here. Do I need them? No, I have a disgusting, ridiculously large brush collection. They're in front of me right now, and I will not be parted with any of them. They are my babies. Let's talk about then the starter brush collection. What do I think of that? I actually think they've got some good ones here. Again, kind of surprised that they didn't put in specifically one for like a foundation. Why didn't they put the domed brush in there for that? That's a bit surprising. But they do say that they have their My Yummy base flat, so I suppose you could use that for your foundation as well. Lovely angled brushes for contour, for your bronzer, etc. Some really nice floofy brushes. There's not a lot in the way of eye brushes, but I mean, they're grand. I personally prefer, you know, where they have the My 20, I prefer a much smaller brush because I have very hooded eyes, so I prefer a much smaller brush. So for me, that wouldn't necessarily work, but that's, I suppose, why they have the eye brush set. And there's a couple of brushes in there, and it does look like they have some nice shapes in there. Like, say for instance, the My 19, that's nice. It's a targeted, fluffy, small brush. I like that. I feel like I wouldn't get a lot of use out of, like, say for instance, the medium one. I like the My 18. Ooh, because that's an extra small one. Do you know what? I was going to say pisses me off. Yeah, I'm going to say pisses me off. What irks me, what irritates me, is that none of these are available singularly, because I like some of these, but I don't want to buy the entire collection. Like, say for instance, right, out of this, I would happily get the My 18, the My 19, the My 26, and the My 29, and maybe the My 30, but I wouldn't bother with anything else. Do you know what I mean? I'm hoping that down the line they might think about kind of making these available singularly, because it's also a lot of money to be parting with. Then the detailed brush set that they have, there's a lot in there. I do actually quite like a few of these. I like the My 16. See how the micro, oh my god, using that to cut a crease, I can't even. The cleanness of lines that you would get here. Even the My Yummy applicator mini, that's beautiful. The My Yummy liner, the tilted one, the My 34, that's brilliant for like hooded eyes, etc., and like getting a good wing there. They do look to be very nice, very fine, very tipped. Of course, they've obviously got brush in there for your brows, because you can't not have your brow unless, I don't know, unless you're like Bambi Thug or whatever. Let's not talk about that. I think it's nice. It's just too expensive, and I wish they were all available separately, but there you go. Then we have Wicked Widow Beauty, and this is a collaboration with The Crow. You know the movie, was it Brandon Lee was in it? Oh, so sad. Anyways, this is coming out May 17th. You can get the lipsticks, for example, for $16 each, or they're available apparently in a collector's PR box. They come in the shades Rain, Forever, Graveyard Dirt, and Soul. So those are the shades from left to right. They are also doing, and I'm a little bit confused by this, a duo highlighter. Now, I'm not confused by the idea of having a duo highlighter, but it's the shades that I'm a little bit confused by, because I can't figure out who this would work with. It's going to be $33, again available the same day. So the duo highlighter features two duochrome shades, Eternally Yours and Resurrect, both adorned with an embossed rose. So Eternally Yours is a dazzling white shade with a hint of blue sheen, which I like. A blue sheen, I think that's actually quite nice, particularly if you're very, very pale. But it's the other shade, it's the silver duochrome with small black sparkles. Who is that gonna, who's highlighting with that? And look, I know you're going to be saying to me, Teresa, you don't have to use it as a highlighter. You can use it as an eyeshadow. No, we're not lying to ourselves anymore. We know that when we buy things like this and we tell ourselves, I'll use it as an eyeshadow, we never do. Look at me. You know that you never do. So I don't get this one. I really, really don't. Like, I think they should have just done the one shade and be done with that. That was really strange. I like the lipsticks though. I think they're kind of cool. Like, they are really cool, really gothic. I'd probably just get the red. I feel like the rest of them, I couldn't carry it off. I'm not cool enough for that sort of thing. It's a big franchise to kind of try and bring together, because it's very beloved. I genuinely don't understand that shade Resurrected from the highlighter duo, and I need somebody to explain it to me, because I don't know how it would work. It's really, really strange to me. But we're now on to some sneak peeks, and I kind of talked to you guys about this in a short during the week. This is Vampyre Cosmetics, and they're doing a licensed collection with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I am beside myself, next to myself, near, far, everywhere. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It is an unhealthy love, but I'm okay with it. I'm totally fine with it. I love Willow. She's my favourite. Don't you dare say anything else. Love, 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 love her. I am excited about this. I can't wait to see. I hope they go for like 90s style. I want to see like some brown lip liners, you know, because like Sarah Michelle really rocked a lot of that. I'm thinking like the old school days of like them being in the bronze. Oh, I want to see something from Drusilla. I want to see a dark red lip. I have so many thoughts. I have so many thoughts. I want a black liner from when Spike was like a punk in the 70s in New York. I am so excited about this. I hope it's done well. I feel like I'll get it anyways. Like I said, I'm kind of vibing with Vampyre Cosmetics and kind of their ethos so far. I've heard good things about them, so I may end up getting that. I'm quite excited about it. And then the very last thing is this sneak peek with Klarity Cosmetics. This is the sneak peek of palette number 1 from our Mermaid Dreams collection. So it seems that they're coming out with at least 2, it seems. I am, of course, an affiliate. I have a code that'll get you money off. It's my name. Bleh. There you go. It's done. I enjoy Klarity Cosmetics. I am a little bit worried. I know they like a lot of sea themes. I get them. I love sea. Who doesn't love water? It's fantastic. I am a little bit worried, and let me explain for why. They recently came out with their blue palette, which was Oasis. They already have their... which one was it? It was like a 9-pan, can't even remember the name of it. It was like Sea Witch or something like that. Beautiful palette. Mwah, beautiful. And then they did their Forbidden Love, which had a lot of blues and purples in it. And I'm a little bit worried that there could be a lot of overlap here. Do you know what I mean? Like they're going to have to really try and take it into a different direction to get this to work quite cohesively. I think they could get away with some purples for sure. I think some greens could be really interesting, but they're gonna have to be careful not to put, I think, too much blue into this, because for me, I feel like they've done an awful lot of blues, and I like blues, don't get me wrong, but there comes a point where you should be really careful that your brand doesn't become redundant, and I am a little bit nervous about that, but there you go. Anyways, my gorgeous friends, that's it. That's the end of this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I do, however, have my favourite comment, and it is from last week's live, because I did do a live last week, because it was my birthday. I'm 34. Don't I look fantastic? I'm aging disgracefully, but there you go. And this is from the lovely Janet, who said yes to bringing back Sunday swatching with all the cats descending, because I did say that I wanted to get back into it. And Janet, my fabulous friend, guess what? I've already filmed a swatching Sundays. And I do hope to have it edited and up for Sunday evening over here at some point. And in case you're wondering what it is, it's the Gloss Gods. God, I can't speak. It's the Gloss Gods Let's Get Nude palette, and I have that swatched. You know the deal, and lots of different sunlights. And yes, there is a cat in it. It's Ed. Just being like very like belligerent of like, woman, feed me. Why are you not feeding me? But there you go. Anyways, my gorgeous friends, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Also, I recently just hit 3K subscribers on YouTube, and my mind is blown. I know that seems like such a stupid thing to say, but you know what? Whatever. It's my channel. I can say what I want. I'm so humbled. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Like, I don't think you get how much it means to me to have this little community where we hang out, we talk about the things that we find interesting. I've always wanted a little safe haven, and I hope that I'm creating that for you guys here. I so appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. But my gorgeous friends, that's it. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Do please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case, just wrap it up, don't be gross. That's it, that's the end of this week's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.